Alright, so this is the updated version of my Arcana Knight Horus deck. And the deck is meant to draw deep enough to set up and draw just one for one cards like Solemn Judgment, Ash. You have Monster Negates, you have Spell Negates. You can do other things with the deck if you want, but it's meant to lead with Arcana Knights that can plus off of the Utopia draw package. So that's why I like mixing with it. And then the Horus cards just go with it. And then even if you are locked in with Joker straight, you can use the Horus cards to go into two big monsters that negate and continue to even use these Exceed monsters under Joker straight because they are like warriors. And sometimes, your opponent sometimes can't play through one negate or two and they just pass turn, where if this deck just goes off, you will continue drawing, and then you have so much card advantage that it's crazy. So if they don't stop you, it's like they can't play, and then it's going first cards since it's meant to go first. The extra deck is going second cards, so that way once they go, you can just change up from going first cards to going second cards, and then proceed to play accordingly. And because you don't want to see going second cards going first, and vice versa. So I facilitated it to go first. So when the dice roll, or if your opponent says you go first, because some decks can only go second, it's all up to you. But it's meant to draw deep into the extra deck. It's heavily Exceed based, and there's multiple different versions. But this is my full power Horus Arcana Knight deck. I would like to call it the Egyptian Knights, and it's kind of fitting. But I have updated the Blue Eyes deck. I am no longer with Shorty that I was with. Shit happens. Don't want to talk about it. I hope she's okay. I love her and wish her the best. We just weren't healed enough to be with each other. But I really do hope she's okay. But I'm focused on working out, focused on fixing my body, making it better, my mind, my emotions, everything to be the best version of me for me. In the meantime, just do our gaming stuff. Yu-Gi-Oh! I am hyped to just play this deck. I will be going back to locals a lot. And I want to make an Egyptian deck, but I'm stuck because I like playing with the Blue Eyes. And I do not want to get a third set of none of these cards because they're expensive as hell. And it's a hell no. So I am playing with the Blue Eyes deck, but I want to make it into an Egyptian dragon deck. But there's some cards I can't play with, and I don't want to play with over 40 cards. It's like, just feels wrong. But anyway, let me get into this. This is the side deck. Obviously, this is the extra deck. So we'll start with there's like four parts of the deck. There's the Arcana Knights, then there's the Utopia cards, then we have the Horus cards, and then the hand traps and floodgates and blah blah blah. So I cut Imperial Bower down to one. It's a good one of, because you only want to see it starting. If you draw into reinforcements of the army, you can just draw him like he's a one card setup. You can use him with the continuous spell card for the Utopia cards that make you draw. And yeah, these are also the same thing. They're one card starters, where if they don't get ashed, you bring out two monsters and you continue to go. And if you have the spell card to draw, you just keep drawing. And then you would eventually go into your horror stuff. But either way, it's like you have a lot of stuff that they have to ash, and they have to pick their poison. Two kings, two queens. I play one Joker's Wild. And that's it for the Arcana Knight stuff. And I feel bad, but it's a small package. But I like the recycling. So like this recycles and this recycles. So that's the whole purpose. If they get rid of everything or somehow play through everything, like you can recycle, and then you have Exceed monsters that would punch them in the face just for having two warriors that go into a powerful Exceed monster. So there's this, and then I like going into the Utopia card, so it's like 3 ZS. And I like this because it's one card, like, you have to play it first. And then even if, let's say, you drew both queens, you can summon one of the queens. And this is an extender, now you have 2 fours, then this was free. And when you go into your Utopia cards, you get a free rank up. So think of it as whether you have him and another one of him, you can normal summon the other one and go all for him. So that's why like 3. Whether you have him, 2 kings, 2 queens, it doesn't matter. Think of it as you special him, normal summon him. Off of these two, if they don't get ashed or anything, this is a 2 card negate. So it's like you summoning 2 monsters, you go into the Utopia package, and you end up on 2 negates. So it's like both of these turn into a negate. Because when you do the combo, you can end up with number 90, and then you could end up with the exceed that negates spells. So just think of it like that. 1 Astrotopia. This is the spell I was talking about. Change tactics. This is the draw engine. I cut it down to 2, and I'll say why when I get to the card. But I hated seeing this at 3, especially at regionals. It was good to see it as a one-off, but you could ditch the cards now with the horror stuff, and or put it back, and you could do other things. But I cut it down to 2 because I'm playing a card, and I'd rather search it out either with him or obviously with him. But then 1 card just helps me get to him, and you decked in while drawing still. 1 rank up spell, which you get off of ZS too. Like I said, the ZS going into him, you get this free, and you get your 2 negates by going into 99. 1 double or nothing, and it's like you could play it defensively and offensively. You can, when I get to it, I'm talking too much. Reinforcements of the army. Like I said, you can use this, get to your 1 of, or if you already have something, you can use this. But then I switched out 2 of the Arcana Knights, the Imperial Bower for Summoners Monk. And the way I see it is I can use this, and even though you go -1 if it get ashed, but if you have to set up, you're good. And think of it, like I said, think of it as Summoners Monk, ditch one of the spells. You can summon Astrotopia if you need the continuous spell. And like off of 2 cards, this and 1 spell, you can go into your draw package of the Utopia cards. But if you already have the spell, you can use him to ditch a different spell and go into the ZS and get your rank up spell. And then you're drawing even more cards while setting up the gate. And then you're digging deep enough where you can hit your Horus cards. And then that goes even further. You could deck in, and this or the Arcana Knights with this will get you into the draw package. But the Arcana Knight stuff will limit you to just like warriors, while Summoner Monk has no limit, because if you use him to do the setup, you're not under any restrictions like Joker's Wild or Joker Straight. You can freely go into anything. You can use the Utopia cards, the Horus cards, to further go into the coach and dig even deeper while burning. And you're just, like I said, you're drawing so many cards that you're going to draw a bunch of negates and then have negates on the field. So that's the whole premise of the deck. Just to dig deep enough, and then it's like by themselves, 2 warrior cards are beast in this deck anyways. As you've seen some of my combos if you did. But this is it for the main draw package and setup. The Arcana Knights with the Utopia. Then we'll get into the Horus cards, and I'm playing 3 Walls of Imperial Bower. Walls of Imperial Tomb. And it's a 1 card setup. You could put something back you don't like, and I love that you can do that, because I used to play the spell card that lets me get ZS and put back a spell card or whatever. So I'll put back double or nothing in order to get the ZS monster or the rank up spell, and then double nothing is back in my deck so I can recycle it. This does the same thing, but this helps you with the Horus card. So if you have double or nothing, or if you have 2 queens in your hand and you want to use that but you can't, because obviously I only play 2 queens. So if I have this and 2 queens, I can't do nothing. But this will put back one of the queen while searching out. If I need the dragon, I'll search the dragon. Or if I need Mseti himself, I can put back queen or double or nothing, whatever I don't need, back to the deck. by searching out one of the Horus cards I need, whether it's M-Seti or the Dragon, and I love the Dragon. It goes with this card more than anything. It's like, it's your trouble card in your hand to do stuff. One terraforming, so we can, it's like basically having 4 copies. And then I cut down King Sarcophagus to 2, for the simple fact you're still running 3 M-Setis, and this gets you into it. Then this, my primary purpose is to dump the Horus cards. So once you dump them, it's like you're not playing. I'm playing all 4, but once they're all in the graveyard, I don't need this card no more for dumping. So this counts as King Sarcophagus on the field, and this has its own effect with the dragon and whatnot. So these are like alternate copies of this, but this doesn't dump the cards to the graveyard. Well, this does, but you only need to use this the initial time. So then I cut it down to 1, since these are basically the same things. And even if they got rid of both of these, but all the Horrors are already in the graveyard, or enough of them are in the graveyard, I can just play this, search out the dragon if I don't have them already, and then this lets me get all the Horrors cards back anyways. And the 3 M-Setis, like I said, so it's like this would search out if I need him or whatever card. So it's a 1 card started by putting 1 card back. That if these might not be good at opening, I could just put something back and fix my hand. And one of the daddies, because this is supposed to be their father. So I love this dragon. It's a good one of. I like playing it with 2, but only when it was like pure with the Rod version of the deck, where it's like all Egyptian cards. I like playing him at 2, but it's good at a 1, and it's a 41 card deck if you don't want to count. And then 1 of this one, the Jackal, 1 Hope, and 1 of this one. I say the Gatekeeper, because that's basically what he is a gatekeeper, and you activate his effect last. Your Horus monsters cannot be targeted for anything. Also, they cannot be attacked. So he's like their protector, and that's exactly what he is. But like I said, I consider him the protector. But I was waiting forever for the dragon to come out and the field card, because the field card's a 1 card setup. Then the rest of the deck, which comes to 41, 1 Vanity's Ruler, because even if you're reshaping your hand or dumping enough, sometimes this shuts down so many decks, and it's like, I can say this is like the Dark Magician of my deck, where it's 25, but once I hit him on the field, most decks completely get shut down, and they cannot do nothing. They can't play, because most of them play a bunch of monsters that needs to be special summoned, and this says they can't, while you can. And since this requires 2 tributes, though, you have to normal summon this, and there's no other way. This gives you 2 free monsters, so like you can play this, and then summon this, and they can't beast you or any of your cards because this is on the field, and then this will recycle 1 of your knights. So it's like this stops them from playing, and then when you go, it's game. There's nothing. You just play this again with your horror stuff or whatever. This is already 25. It's like they're done for. 3 Ash, 3 Solemn Judgments, and 1 Call by the Grave. I was trying to make the deck 40, but it's like I couldn't. There wasn't 1 card I wanted to get out. I didn't want to put that down to 2, but you can do that if you want. There wasn't another card I could have gotten rid of to make it 40, so I'm like, I left it at 41, and 41's not that bad. So, and the deck thins with the Summoner's Monk and drawing into stuff, and then you can further stop at a certain point for the drawing of the Utopia cards to send the Horus cards to the graveyard, so that way they're out of the way. So when you continue drawing, you hope to draw into these cards, like whether you set up with the Floodgate or the Ashes or the 3 Solemns, and then let's say you drew into 3 Solemns, that's 3 Negates. And then it's just crazy, but I love the deck. So it's like Horus, Arcana Knights, my way. Like I said, I bridged them and learned how to use them my way. One Utopia, one double, and it's I barely lose this deck at all. 39. It's like it's meant to link claim and to draw into stuff, so 39. If you look at some of my old videos, it's the same combo, the same draw package, except I've shortened it. You can add different Utopia cards to go further, but I like to limit the Pacific fusions that, since I'm locked on the Light Warriors, it gives me a decent enough draw, but at the same time, I wanted to use different exceeds, so if I don't have these cards, I have open range with the Horus stuff, so I did other things. 39 on 99. The Dragon. X. I love using X. So the 2-card starter with ZS and let's say Queen, you can either go defensively and go into 2 negates off of 99. But if you wanted to go offensively, it's like, I feel like it's like a transformer. You could go defense or offense. Where if you're going offensively, then you can summon him off of double. He's 6,000. And then he only has 2 materials. Use the 2 materials to bring out the dragon. He hits the field, he's 4,000. Use him to bring back double. And then you use the rank up spell since you used ZS and searched it. You can use the rank up spell to turn Utopia double into X. This is if you are not under restrictions, because obviously this is a dragon, this is a warrior dark. So if you're doing it off a Summoners Monk, or if you're doing it ZS and then you're summoning Queen or whoever else just to tag along with him to go into double, then you're not under restrictions, and that's the only way you can do this. But it's not bad because it's like 6,000 for 4, and then if you destroy one of their monsters, you can use him to detach, special summon that monster to your field. And then not only that, he gives you light points by targeting one of the other ones. So I normally use him to target him, and then I gain 4,000 light points. And it's like recovery. And then if you're using him with him, because you can bring him out first if you wanted to, and then Excalibur or whatever his name is, I can never get it right. You can give up all your light points except 500 to activate his effect. Then one of your monsters' attack is doubled during battle. And then since you have him out, if you do the combo right, you can use him to target him, gain 25 to your light points. So it's like you're not sitting there with 500 light points, and then if they survive somehow or whatever the case is, at least you still have 3,000 light points because you gave up all of it except 500 for him. You gain the 25 back, so you have 3,000, so you should be alright. But then you can target him, he's 8,000 because of his effect, and it's like you can do a bunch of things, and he has a built-in on it, so you can attack whatever one monster they have if they have one, and then punch them in the face for 8. So it's like, it just works well with him. Nobody uses X, so I feel like it's an underrated card, but I like it using him, and nobody sees him coming. And defensively, like I said, if you're going ZS and any other warrior or whatever card to go into double, you can link climb up to use double to go into Utopia to C9, and then you use the rank up spell to go into 99, which is why you do these combos. I mean, I showed you the different way, but then defensively, you're link climbing to go to him, so he has 4 materials. And then on your turn, if you're locked under Joker straight or not, you can use 99 Photon Galaxy. He's a light warrior. And then on their turn, you're not under restrictions because, you know, you passed your turn. Then you can go into 38 Hope Harbinger. So off of just ZS and any other level 4 monster, this deck is meant to just spam out 4s or 8s. So it's like with the 4s, you can go into these 2 cards for negate, and then sometimes they can't even play through that. And you can, or you can go offensively and just powerhouse through whatever they can. If you're going into the Horus cards, while you're locked under Joker straight and your draw combo, you can use one of the Horus cards to make him, because he's an 8/2 and a light warrior. And then you can use the other 2. Like I'm saying 2 because I have 4. So you can use 2 out of the 4 to make number 90 if you're locked under restraints. And then you can use the other 2 to go into the Divine Dragon Knight. And then he's also a light warrior, so these two cards can work great under the restrictions. And then he targets something, whether it's yours or your opponent's, and it's unaffected. Its effect is negated permanently for that turn, but it's unaffected by all other card effects. So if they Regeki you or whatever, you can target himself, and he's just staying on the field, and he's unaffected. So by every other card, yours and your opponent's, for that turn. And this just shuts down so many cards. Like, they couldn't play even past these two. Even if I just went into the Horus, instead of sitting there and waiting for them to go off, I can just go to the negates, and then they couldn't do nothing, depending on who you're playing and what they draw. The rest of the cards is 97, so that you can powerhouse an OTK with 100. And what I like about this is you need 2 dragons to use his effect, and obviously he's 1, so you can punch in the face, or you can add him or go into the negate if you wanted to reverse it. But you can also use the dragon, because he's a dragon rank monster, this one, and you can attach him to him while saving him as a negate. 1 galaxy trainer, coach king, and 1 little SP. So on the way out of the duel, you already set up everything. You need to move something out of the way so you can punch them in the face, or whatever the case is. You can use this and make sure they have 1 monster attack mode, or so forth. This is just to remove a problematic card. If they have a back row, you can bait it out once it hits the field, because you're gonna have a lot of Exceed monsters on the field. So you can just bring him out, target that card, banish it. If they chain something, you can just banish him to something else too. So that's it. It's like, once you get the hang of it, it's pretty simple, and I love it. The extra deck, like I said, most of it's going second card, so I play 1 raw, and I want to make a deck with just the Egyptian stuff, the Horus, the raw and stuff, but I don't know what to do. 3 Pheromones, Harpies, like I said, going second cards. 2 Lightning Storms, 2 Secret Spellcasters. If they're playing spell cards or spell decks, runics, or whatever, you can side these in, take out 1 of the field cards, and do your whole combo. You join into your deck, and then end with playing this, and then Mceti's a spellcaster. Summon a Monk's a spellcaster. You can just leave them on the field. You can go full combo, bring this out with Mceti, and then they can't play spells. And whatever else they have, you have Solemns and a bunch of other stuff. So Genzos, are they playing traps? You dig deep enough. So Change of Heart to swap out Call by the Grave, and you can put Change of Heart. And I'm old school. I'm a Yugi boomer, so Change of Heart, take 1 of their cards, tribute it for Genzo. That would be funny. This, if you wanted to take out the Summoners Monk and just make it purely the Arcana Knights, you could put the other 2 Bower. And I like this because Summoner's Monk, you need a spell card to do something, but this is good where, let's say you have no hand, and you have the Knights in your deck, you can use him to summon him, bring out King and Queen, and you can do something by himself. That's why I have him as a 1-of. The 3rd King Sarcophagus, if you want to bump it up, and the 3rd XYZ change. If you don't see it, the other 2 duels, you want to bump it up to 3. But yeah, I love the deck. I love that I can play it full power. I've been playing it full power for the longest online, but I couldn't play it in real life because this wasn't out yet, and it's still not legal quite yet. But I love this deck, and like I said, I want to make a God deck just because it feels like an Egyptian-based deck. But this is my Arcana Knight Horus deck. So I'm saying Egyptian Knights because there's a bunch of Egyptian cards. Let me know what you think. Please, no negative people. It's so annoying. It's meant to be a card game. It's fun. I'm winning, so it doesn't matter. And yeah, sharing information for the people who love the decks, similar decks with similar builds and want to try different things and be rogue.